Welcome to another episode of Starseed Activations. Good evening, Nancy. Welcome, Minnesota. I'm currently located in Pennsylvania. And so we're just going to start with a brief intro. And so some people were asking me, who am I? Why do I do this? And so in 2019, I actually went through an entire transformation. And so I used to be a cripple, and then I managed to heal all of my pain through raising my biological frequency. Now, during that time, I was doing a lot of spiritual tools that I was downloading from the star people, but I was not currently aware that I was a channel for them. I just thought I was regular and I thought I had gotten lucky. And so during that process, I did come into the fruition that I was a channel, and I started writing out downloads. And now, what we've actually been able to do right now is I've been able to take all of the downloads from the past couple of years and put them all onto a PDF file so that they can be printed into a book. And so that's coming very soon. So, I mean, there's a little fly here. We're back in the spring, so the fly wars start all over again. It's super fun. And so the star people can actually control the flies. So they can make the fly swirl around the head. They used to tap me on the nose nonstop. The one time my starman, he put 1,000 flies in front of my house. Now, the metaphysical reason behind black flies is that there's something that you're missing, or there's something that you're meant to do that you're not consciously focused on. So at the time, I had something I was overlooking, and so there were flies everywhere. The second I got it done, the flies disappeared. And so then he started telling me, oh, well, that's because it was a metaphysical sign for you. This way you knew you had to get up and take action. So many times when we're on the spiritual path, we get to a certain point and we think that we can just change our frequency and then everything is going to manifest for us. Now, that is true. However, we also have to take into consideration your biological frequency. So, whatever frequencies are inside your body are also going to change your magnetism, which changes the flow of the manifestations. And so, if you have something that you have to place focus on and make moves in the physical world, then you need to still do things like that. Now, in time, the happier and high frequency that you can hold, the more you're going to be able to go into the slipstream, which is a frequency bandwidth inside of the heart chakra. That's going to give you access above time and space. That is a form of 4D frequency. And so when we start to tune into the slipstream, it makes it so everything goes very rapidly, because anytime you're located in the heart chakra and you're doing love and light type of energetic work, it generally puts you in a very rapid frame of consciousness. And so what that looks like is you wake up, you're very, very excited. When you're holding 4D frequencies, the excitement is the second that you open your eyes, you're filled with joy, bliss, and excitement. That's what it feels like. And so, but then you go about your entire day, and your entire day seems to go like really, really rapidly. And so it's a blessing to be in 4D frequency. That's what we all shoot for. Now, many times as star seeds and light workers, we do this whole cycle. Now, this is normal because it goes with the cycle of time. So, what happens is we end up going into this high frequency moment in our life. And so everything falls into our lap. We may instantaneously manifest items in that higher frequency, which is wonderful. It's readily available for us to do now. We don't have to wait for a solar flash in order to instantaneously manifest stuff. It's already here. That change actually took place in 2012. And so if you were holding a high frequency, you may have noticed that all of your stuff came and it all fell into alignment. That is from 2012. So right now we want to try and shoot for that high frequency range. But whatever densities are inside of the energetic grid structure is going to cause a low. And so we go through spiritual weeks, then we go through physical weeks. On the physical weeks, what we are designed to do is focus in the physical. And so pay your bills, wash your car, extra care. Maybe you get your nails done and all this stuff. All these things are usually done on physical weeks. You'll start to notice the patterns now that you're consciously aware of the process. Now, then we dive into a spiritual week. So spiritual weeks are more fun because it's like whatever you're thinking, boom, 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 then it manifests. So that's how this works. Now, this process starts in the lower frequency range and then it goes up. It goes up. Normally, this is not all the time. Normally, your pathway to ascension will go up like this. It will never go back down. However, There are some people on the planet and their soul form chooses to swan dive. Now, a swan dive, we know it as you're at a high frequency and you swan dive down into the lower frequency ranges. This is okay to do this because it's only an experience. And this is what your soul form wanted to have. So many times when people do swan dives, it's completely out of their control. The universe will align something so it pushes it. It's like pushing them off a cliff, or they may get into like some sort of energetic shift, which forces them back into the lower realms. So, one such thing would be like a tornado. Imagine, don't even imagine it, but imagine a tornado comes and removes your house. And so that's a swan dive. Now you have to start from scratch. You have to go back up. That's how this process works. This is okay too, though, because it's during those processes in which we have nothing. It actually allows us to learn the most about who we are, what we're made of, what we're capable of. And so it really is a blessing. How do we challenge our higher self in a fun way as a group? Well, each and every one of us is supposed to be making contact and communication with the higher self. And so, what that looks like is advanced intuitive knowledge being downloaded in the now moment. That's what the star people are saying. What, and I was just so funny you bringing this up because I was doing this all morning. So while I was driving, because driving is a form of meditation, and so I like to try and open or activate my heart chakra. So when you do this properly, you're going to feel an energy come out of the front of the chest area, but you can also feel the energy coming all the way up. And you can feel it coming out the top of the crown chakra. That's your chi energetic system. So you can feel it coming up. It's electrical in its nature, but the higher self is magnetism. That magnetism comes down. And when you pull it down, you feel it, and then it kind of like clicks and it flowers open inside of the heart chakra. So we have a pineal gland that flowers open, and inside the heart chakra, it's the higher self flowering open. And so when these two things are aligned, it grants us access into higher states of manifestation. Very, very important. So whenever we never challenge the higher self, because the higher self will never step in and do any type of challenges. What the higher self will do is if we're enjoying the moment, you'll feel the higher self creep down and you can project that love out the heart chakra and she'll flower open. That's how we're making the two-way communication with the higher self. When that higher self is fully flowered open in the heart chakra, the higher self automatically puts you on the highest and best frequency timeline. So you're bound to have the most joy, the most love, the most bliss, because the higher self is embodying the heart chakra. This all happens through the slipstream. Now, the slipstream is a different type of particle that is above time and space. So it's just imagine it's inside the physical heart, but it goes above time and space. So this is how we can drop into the heart and we can start to control time and space. It is activated, the star people are saying, through different emotional expressions. So one such expression would be extreme fear. Now, even though that's a lower frequency, it still activates the slipstream because when we are very fearful, you're going to notice time seem to slow. And that's because that's an emotion that triggered that slipstream. The slipstream is directly connected into the Kundalini channels. So each person has 6 Kundalini channels. 5 of them are based in light, one of them is based in dark matter. The star people are actually saying right now there's many more, except these are the primary ones that they want us to focus on now. When we raise our frequency into 5D and the technology becomes more advanced, we will consciously become aware that there is several more different types of Kundalini channels, they're saying. But these are the important ones to start with. So the slipstream located inside the heart chakra is directly connected into that inner channel. So that inner channel controls your basic Kundalini function. Many of us awaken the Kundalini during the dark night of the soul. So it's a really crummy time for us. And then that Kundalini activates. And so many of us, what was that? I felt it. And then it leads you down a path of self-discovery. This is natural. And this process also happens because the star people are helping and guiding and assisting us. Now, each and every one of us has a star family. Our star families, they know exactly who we are. They keep tabs on us. Maybe they don't keep tabs 24/7. However, they know who you are and they constantly check. Now, they also have access into time travel technology. So they can see into the future. However, what they're saying right now is it's biological time travel technology. So imagine that we activate our full psionic abilities and we have the ability to go inside the consciousness and we can see into the future. Now, this is readily available to manifest right now because we can do different types of meditations or astral projections or even remote viewing. See, this is when we start to take the consciousness and we start to project into the astral realms. However, there's different levels to the astral realms, and some levels look identical to the actual physical reality that we see. So that means that you could drop into a meditation, you can pull your soul out of your body, or you could just remote view it without actually pulling your soul out. When you do the process of pulling your soul out, you could fly around the universe and you can actually go to the location and you could witness whatever is there. Now, there is technology to block people from certain locations. So, certain locations that I wouldn't try doing is things like the White House. And so, when you do things like that, they have people in the astral realms and all that stuff is there. So, I would just stay away. Now, every single soul is connected down at the subatomic or frequency levels, the star people are saying. And so, how this is very, very important because whenever we start to trigger any emotional responses and we start to cast that emotion at other individuals, it actually makes an imprint at the cellular structure. And so, just imagine for 1 second if you're hanging out with people who are of a lower frequency, that lower frequency is then going to start to radiate onto you and it's going to have an effect on your biological form. And so we don't hang around with depressed people because you have a higher chance of becoming depressed. Now, even if you're the most highest and bright and love and light person, your biological form is still going to be lowering its frequency if we put ourselves in lower frequency areas. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to cut people out of your lives, but that does mean that you have to take care of your own health and your mental health first. So you have to always put yourself as number one. Now, becoming your own cheerleader is another great, great tool that the star people have me do. Because at one point in my life, I didn't have a cheerleader and I had two small kids at the time. And so I had to become my own cheerleader and pull myself up out of bed, pull myself out of the hole I was in, and then, make determination and dedication to actually wake up and do something throughout my day. And so each and every one of us, whenever we want to change the frequency that we are holding, it's always going to be done through the thoughts and the emotions. And so, what thoughts and emotions you are holding, when you start to become consciously aware of the way you feel, the way your actual internal body feels, as well as the way that you vibrate into the physical world. Now, that vibration is held by your emotions, but it has a lot to do with energetic casting, as well as diving into the psyche and seeing what emotions that you're holding. So, just imagine for 1 second that something, maybe when you were a child, you were riding a bike, you fell off the bike and you got seriously hurt. And so it imprinted you, it imprinted a fear emotion. Now, all of a sudden, you're an adult, years have gone by, it's 20, 30 years, and you still have a fear of getting on that bicycle. And so that original fear imprinted you, and now you're never going to do it again because of the fear. But you're missing out on all this fun because now you won't even try. And so when we start the process of diving into the shadow work, that shadow work is going inside and actually cleaning up that emotion of fear that imprinted us when we were a child. So it's gone, healing the inner child. So we visualize the inner child. The star people are always readily available to help you guys do any type of shadow work. So they'll come in and they will assist in taking the younger version of you and putting him or her on a heart to heart hug. This way you can have a conversation and you can heal that inner child. So these are different types of shadow work. These are things that we do regularly. So in my life, I'm always consciously focused on, okay, what am I working on currently? And everything always changes because some days maybe there's more shadow work. It depends on the solar energetics. Right now we're in the middle of a retrograde. So the retrograde right now is perfect for releasing things, as well as we don't normally start new projects during a retrograde. So all of these things hand in hand, releasing the shadow, diving into yourself and getting to know yourself, seeing what you're truly capable of. Now, when the universe removes things from us, and it could be anything. I personally, it was like a week ago, I had two pairs of headphones go missing. They were Bluetooth, gone, and they were gone right from my room, from my desk. And so I know that they were there. I put them there, but then they were gone. And so sometimes the physical items, it is at the subatomic level, it's all frequency, and so it's not real. If we can manifest items out of thin air, that means that items can choose to disappear. So many times, if you guys have ever lost a crystal, sometimes the crystals choose to disappear, and then they may reappear somewhere else, and they may choose to go along their journey. Everything happens by divine alignment as well as synchronicity, even the insects and the bugs that we see. So everything is connected, and we only see things that are helping us throughout the day. Now, the shamans of the ancient days, they used to know this because they would live by it. And so they used to tell you that you have spirit animals. What animal do you guys feel drawn to or attracted to? That spirit animal is always a sign or a signal. So we take a look at the dreams. Any types of dreams that we have, we always want to pull apart the dream and what does it mean? Even by utilizing things like a dream book. Now, there are dream walker shamans. And so those are people who can consciously project their consciousness into your dreams to make changes or modifications into the dream that you are having in the now moment, because even the dreams have a now moment. There are also dream time attachments to be aware of. The star people are saying someone who is going to watch this video, they're not on the live stream right now, but they are going to. They're saying that that person, it's like a replay, he's saying, but that person is going to know, okay, there's a dream time and there's an attachment. And so, any time of dream time attachments, just tell it the second you become aware and conscious in the dream, just tell it, okay, you're out of here. Thank you, but goodbye. And then the dream time attachment will gently leave. So we are full creators, and we do have a divine control over our reality, including our dream time. So many times when we're in the dream time, we're able to make changes or modifications to the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is fully in control of the dreams. The subconscious mind can also be directly related into the memory grid complex. Now, the memory grid complex is every single thought as well as every single emotion that you have ever run in this lifetime, as well as your past and future lifetimes, as well as it's tied into the Akashic records, which are tied into different parallel realities and different lifetimes. So we do live in a multiverse, so all of these things are real. And so when we start to do the conscious, we start to go inside, we start to pull the strings. Let me see this, let me see that. Where was I in the past life? Am I running any emotions from the past life? And so this was another question we had coming in through the question boxes today. So when we have a mark of density inside of the energetic grid structure from a past life, that mark in the energetics, it carries over to this lifetime. And then we have to deal with that emotion that we've marked or we've imprinted, the star people are saying. So it's an energetic imprint of density. And so when we become aware of that, okay, it's from a past life. So you close your eyes, you drop into the meditation, do the shadow work, go into the past life and pull it up. Thank you, higher self, for showing me an image of the past life where I have this energetic imprint of density. And so the higher self will give you a visual or a feeling, or you may have an entire story blink into your mind. And so the story could be, I went here, and then I got hurt. And so that's a story. So what you do is you do the same exact thing. You call upon that person in that moment in time, and you heart to heart hug that person because it's you. It's just in a different lifetime. And then heart to heart hug and heal it. So it's okay to have the experience, younger version of me or past life version of me, because I'm here now and I will protect you and I love you. Tell that version of you whatever they need to hear in order for them to discharge that emotion. You'll be able to feel them like they're a secondary person. You'll be able to feel when they discharge that emotion because they will become happy, or they may take your hand and want to go play. When you feel like that emotion from the past life has been discharged, then you know that that emotion code is completely gone. You're able to fully wrap your arms and heal it. When you come out, whatever imbalance you had from the past life will be discharged, so you won't have to experience it anymore. Now, the question was pertaining to addiction substances. So many people, they may drink excessively in this lifetime and they don't know why. There's an energetic pull towards it. And so that energetic pull could potentially be from a past life. And so when they go inside the meditation, anytime you start doing meditation, you're accessing the subconscious mind, which is the reason why everything goes through the meditation, because you want to slow down the heart and you want to try and access that slipstream, and you want to do memory recall of either the past life or the future life. And so the you version that is right now in this second, you are vibrationally in alignment with 7 past lives as well as 7 future lives. That includes 7 generations in the physical world as well as the astral realm. And so what that means is the parallel realities as well as the future lifetimes, you're 7 generations in there. However, the physical is your mother, your grandfather, and then your children's children's children. So the way that this works is like this: there's an energetic imprint that comes inside your grid, especially when you live in close quarters with, let's say, your children. And so now your energy is reflecting onto those children. So if you have any imbalances in your energetic grid, the children are going to be susceptible towards those energetic imbalances. And so that's okay. This is just the way energetic transfers work. Now, what we do is we go inside, we start the shadow work, we start to heal ourselves. This way, we can break the ancestral karma from your mother, your grandmother, and then further up the lineage, as well as 7 generations down the lineage. So take it from a physical perspective. Now, when you go through an experience, they call it an experiential. And so when you go through an experiential, let's say you were drinking too much. Now all of a sudden your children see you drinking too much, but they see you sober up. Now they see you doing great things with your life. Now, what did you do? You just set the tone. You set an example for the kids, right? So now the kids see, okay, she did this. I don't want to go through that, but then she did this, right? So you're setting a tone. So now they are going to shift or change their perspective because of the experiential that you had. And so many of us, we take a look at our parents and our family, and it's like, if they do things, it's like, we don't want to go through that. So we're going to smarten up from their mistakes. Sometimes they don't, but it allows them to overcome that cycle repeat easier, is what the star people were saying. Yeah. Welcome, Charlene. Okay, so you have trouble remembering dreams? You do sometimes. So whenever there's trouble accessing the dream times, and I mean, certain substances makes it so you have a hard time remembering. If you smoke, it makes it so you have a hard time remembering. Even cigarettes, both of them. And so different chemicals, fluoride in the water, too, is something you want to have a good look at. You want to drink pH balanced water if you can. And so try cleaning up your diet. No toxins, nothing processed, or even do a 3-day fast and then see if that impacts. Now, me personally, I had to do a 3-day fast in order to actually pull myself out of the body. And so that showed me that whatever I was interacting with in the time, it was having such an impact. I was having a hard time astral projecting. Hey, Derek, welcome, welcome. Okay, so karma, prepayments, and past life density. So we pretty much covered that, but the past life density, it carries over into your next life, because whenever you make an imprint in the energetic grids, you have to overcome that imprint. Now, this is the reason that we're going through an entire ascension process right now. And we are becoming consciously aware that we have to clean up our energetics at any cost. Because any imprints, even if it's from a past life, we want to clear all that stuff out while we can before the solar flash. So the solar flash is going to trigger at the subatomic levels, and it's going to activate the crystalline DNA systems. That crystalline DNA systems grants access into the extrasensory abilities. So it's very, very important for us to clean up the energetics as most as possible before the solar flash actually happens. Now, cleaning up the energetics will show you that you are happy, you are in love, because you've done the process, you've done the work. So even cleaning up your diet, cleaning up what things that you're interacting with, like shampoos, conditioners, soaps, sometimes by making tiny changes. And to a certain degree, it is a holographic simulation, and maybe utilizing the ones with all the chemicals, maybe it won't cause harm to you. However, you should always try and do it so you see, do I feel any different? Everyone's body is different, and so we always want to give it a try and just see how it makes us feel. This way, and not only that, but you're coming into conscious awareness. So anytime that you interact with anything, whether it be a fruit, a vegetable, we are supposed to eat it and then document, either document mentally or write it down. See, how does it make you feel? If you feel better and more energy after engaging in eating something, then eat more of that because it made you feel good. If you're eating something that made you feel tired and bloated, stop eating that immediately. You're better off fasting, because even when you fast, it'll give you more energy than eating something with the processed things in it. So, yes. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Good morning, Merlina. Welcome, welcome. Okay, let's see. Okay, so thoughts and emotion grids and rebalancing them. Now, this is very, very important because the utmost importance is to be able to go inside the physical body. So let me just show you guys. I want everyone just to take a deep breath in and release. And just go ahead, do it one more time. Take a deep breath in and release. I want you to become aware of your feet. You can give your toes a little wiggle and just see, how do they feel. Maybe tensen them a little bit and then release. They should be nice and calm and comfortable. Now move up to your legs. I want you to tension your legs nice and tight and then release all the muscles. Just let them drift down and down. Let them feel calm and comfortable. And now your torso. Just go ahead and give every muscle in that middle section, just give it all a little squeeze, maybe a little wiggle, and just release. It should be calm and comfortable. And now go into your arms, just squeeze. You could do your hands too. Squeeze all the muscles and just release. And now do your neck. Just a gentle little rock from side to side. You could even do circles. Squeeze all the muscles and then release. And now go into the head, your scalp, your face, everything, even your lips and your tongue. Just squeeze all these different muscles and now release. What do you guys feel inside of your body? What do you feel? Now, I want each and every person to summon an emotion. So we're going to summon love, because that's the highest frequency one, joy and bliss. So I want you to just dive into the heart chakra and just imagine or summon a memory that made you trigger the emotion of love. Any memory that you guys have, because we're all different. Just feel it. Allow that emotion to radiate over your entire body. I'll give you a minute. So you should feel energy coming off the top of your head. It snaps right into alignment when you do love. And so it opens your chest. Your chest, you should feel a tiny bit of the muscles here. Should feel like that energy is coming out of you. And in the head, you should feel like the energy is coming directly up. That's how you know you got it correct. So anybody who didn't feel that, you may potentially have an energetic blockage. And so what you would want to do is you would want to start diving into the heart chakra, the throat chakra, as well as the pineal chakra, and start unblocking these so you can feel this emotional expression. Now, a lot of times when we're not going to do anxiety, but when you trigger the emotion of anxiety in the upper chest here, will normally have tension and tightness, and then it's related to the lungs. And so think about when we are anxious, it's very shallow breathing. So it's like, right? Because your lungs in the top, this is connected into the fight or flight systems. So when we become fully aware that this is the way the biological form sends us communication, your body language is number one. Because if you stand a certain way, if you keep your head straight, the energy is flowing straight up. If people are hunched over, that means that there's a weight on their shoulders and it's knocking back. And that means that their communication is blocked. So when you see someone who's leaning down like this, that means that we want to start pulling up their energetic grids and we want to start releasing the density. Now, you guys are all healers because you're all star seeds. You have the ability. So, anyone in your family unit, I would start grabbing them and start doing energetic clearings on them. So, it's very simple to unblock trapped emotions. You just need to grab a magnet, a regular 99-cent Kitchen magnet. And so you just grab it and you start going over the locations. That's it. And say, I love and bless your body. You can utilize your hands. Your hands will actually send chi energetics as well as magnetism. However, when you're doing it from your hands, you want to open your heart and just imagine or visualize how much you absolutely love and care for that person. The more and more you love the people or the person, the better the energetic is going to flow. Now, we can very easily take our hands and go over someone's complete body, and they can feel energetic shifts and changes in the actual body when we do this. It's completely wild, but I do it all the time, so I know. And they'll feel it shift. So everyone, we're all human, so everyone can do this. And we can all do this to the same degree. You just have to open your heart and project it in people. And this is how we start to heal each other. Now, depending on your level of confidence, you can even project this type of energetic. It's electrical and magnetism in its nature, but you can project it into water as well. And so when you project it into a bottle of water, now all of a sudden you can hand this bottle of water to someone and say, this is healing water. Take a sip. How do you feel? If you have any pain in the upper back, lower neck, that area, take a sip of this water. It's healing water. It's supercharged. Now, this is the reason why certain fractions on the planet, they bless water. They bless it because they make it a higher frequency. Now, in the physical body, whenever you have any pain, that means inside the cells, the water in the cell is holding a not sacred geometric snowflake. It looks scrambled. And so a lot of times you get it from wearing headphones. And so those headphones, stop it, you. The headphones are going to blast different types of music that are not in a sacred geometry. Every music can have a mathematical sequence behind it. And so we know that things like Beethoven and Mozart, they have a mathematical patterning behind the musical tones. They are correct. And so when we have a look at the music and the music is properly attuned to 432, which is also the Earth's frequency, it's going to have a healing effect on our biological form. Now, different instruments are also going to play a key role in healing the physical form as well. So things like cancer is violins are great for that. Now, things like anxiety, we want to utilize running water. And so the people who have been in like world wars or any type of war, you may notice that they may feel more drawn to spend more time by the beach or the ocean or a bubbling creek or whatever it is with the sound of running water. And that's because that water is healing that emotion code. Now, it goes 10 levels deeper because your face, it displays lines and wrinkles from each emotion that you have held extended over the entire lifetime. That's how that works. Now, micro expressions, when someone is having contact and communication with you, they may fire off a face and it may be for a split second. That's a micro expression. And so your subconscious mind picks on to micro expressions. You don't miss a beat because the subconscious mind sees everything. So now we just need to learn how to access the subconscious mind utilizing the intuition. Because when we utilize our intuition, now all of a sudden, each and every one of us, we have the great potential of activating a lie detector. However, the lie detector isn't a lie detector, it's a truth detector. That's the way the physical form works. So anytime someone is telling you the truth, it actually activates the plasma inside the body, which generates the hair to stand up. Now, a lot of times electromagnetism can also have this effect. So if you're in an area that may potentially have a ghost or a spirit who is no longer in a physical body, your hair may also stand up there. So you have to watch. But whenever you're having a conversation with regular people and your hair stands up and you feel the chills, that means you want to pay attention to what's being said. It's very important. So it's like a truth detector. You'll feel like that information is for you and it has something to do with the way that you are going to manifest. Now, all of your hair on the physical form is holds magnetism. And so, because it holds magnetism, it gives us the opportunity to utilize the hair as part of our manifestation process. And so, each and every morning, you could say, I love and bless you, hair, because what that's doing is it's generating a frequency that gets encoded into the actual hair, which then in turn is going to help you to manifest onto a more positive timeline. So, what that looks like is like, you can wake up each morning and you can love and bless your hair and thank your hair for giving you access into 5D frequency coding, right? And then all of a sudden the hair is holding. Now, this was another reason the star people had me stop flat ironing my hair. And believe me, I was kicking and screaming in the beginning because I wanted my hair to be nice and straight. But they said, you're removing all of the water. And so the hair has water. Water holds sacred geometry, it holds frequency, it holds memory. So our entire body, the water and the fluidity, so the blood, the DNA in the body, it's stored with all the memory. Your DNA in your body is holding all the memory of all time and space for Mother Earth. That's wild. It's mind blowing because that means that we can go back into the DNA inside of our body and we can see with our astral eye, we can see time and space, what happened in the beginning of this planet. The entire history is encoded inside of us. Not only that, but there is different genetic markers inside the DNA, which gives us a message. So, whichever extraterrestrial race did DNA modifications on the human genome, that's okay too, because this is part of our reality. But whoever did that, they implanted a code inside of the DNA that says God inside the body. Now, for more information on that, you guys should check out Greg Braden. He's on the Gaia app and he made comments. He's on TikTok too. And so he said that there's a code in there. So check out his work for more information. Hello, everyone. Welcome, Nicole. Thank you, Derek. Thank you. There's so much important stuff that we can do because not only that, people are starting to take the human genome and they're starting to do genetic modifications on species. And so when we start to play mad scientist, is what I call it from all the programming I've seen. But it's not really mad because the star people do it too. They do all sorts of genome experimentation and all this stuff throughout their evolution. They're saying right now that they don't really tap into too much of that these days because allowing the species to grow and develop the way the natural selection works, it actually makes the genome stronger. So, what they're showing me right now is imagine planting a crop. And so it could be any crop. Imagine it's corn. Now, when we plant this corn outside, that corn is survival of the fittest. And so if there's a weak strand of corn, that corn is going to, it's not going to grow. The rest of the stronger corn is going to grow. Now we come along, we eat the corn. We want to eat the strong corn that went through the survival fight or flight systems because that strong corn is going to make us strong. If we start eating only foods grown in a greenhouse under very petite conditions, it's not going to have that strength encoded into it from the survival of the fittest. And so when we start eating foods that they had to either make or break it, that plant is stronger. Now we take the genome from that, now we splice it. Now all of a sudden you're adding that fight or flight. But now, even if you skip a generation, the next one you want to put back outside so they get strong too. And you keep going like this. Now, not only that, there's different ways to implant extra nutrients into this species. And so we could do things like taking sea moss. You can either take sea moss and throw it right on the ground, let the plant soak it up. You could turn it into like some sort of liquid with the green and then spray it on the plant, let it soak it up. Or you could do sea moss and algae and have the plant hydroponically grown. And so that's going to allow, and not that way, you can actually develop free energy technology utilizing something like that. So that's pretty amazing too. However, we still want to do the fight or flight. So some of our foods, it should be widely diversified, they're saying. Now, not only that, but think about it this way. People, sometimes we don't like certain foods. And so this is the whole purpose of eating the cow. So a lot of times if the cow is going to eat the food that I don't want to eat, that light, because all plants are absorbing light wave frequencies. That light wave gets encoded into the plant. Now the cow eats that plant, so now the cow has the frequency of that plant encoded into the subatomic structures. And now we come along, we eat the cow, and now all of a sudden we digest it too. In time, we won't have to eat any food. That's in time. That does not mean start now. Okay. Because what's going to happen is every time that we open the heart chakra, we connect into that center Kundalini channel. We are allowing ether or source frequency to download into our biological form and our energetic grid structures. The star people are saying, tell them the energetic grid structures because that's very important. Your energetic grid structures give you the perception of having a physical body, period. And so when we are tuning into the energetics, when we start changing things in the energetic grids, we can change the eye color, the hair color, we can change our body type. There's so many different changes that we can make through just the energetics. And so different chakras hold different energetic frequencies. And so, what the star people are saying right now is each and every chakra gives a perception into a different aspect of your holographic simulation. Now, that means imagine for 1 second you took your consciousness and projected it out the root chakra. And so the root chakra is red in its coloring. Now, the root chakra gives you a perception of the physical reality as well as your home, your body, your car, everything connected to your energetics filtered through the root chakra perception. And so when your mind is in the root chakra, you may be more attuned to be more focused on money, on bills, on the physical house, on things like this. That's okay because your higher self knows when to activate different chakra systems to adjust your perception. So if something is wrong in your life, your perception shoots down to the root chakra to make those changes before you shift back up. So many times when we go through traumas, we have to dive into the root chakra to heal ourselves in order to raise our biological frequency. When you start to raise your frequency, the natural perception will level up one more. And so this is why they say if you don't have friends or a tribe around you, you have to go into the root chakra. You have to heal the root chakra. Your perception will shift up to the orange chakra, and that's pertaining to social developments. So when we start the process of going through social developments, it will allow us to manifest our soul tribe. So, and then not only that, but after you do the orange chakra, the yellow chakra is next. And so the yellow chakra gives you the energetics that you need in order to paint your masterpieces. And it doesn't matter if it's an actual piece of art, or let's say you're a welder or a baker, right? You have to have enough energy to be able to make your creative geniuses in the holographic simulation. That's okay too. Now, sometimes our perception will shift. It will shift from one of the lower chakras to one of the upper chakras. So this happens because whenever we're focused on the lower chakras, we are focused on how we function in the physical reality. But let's say, for an example, now all of a sudden you spent all morning doing your meditations, doing the clearing on the lower chakras, but now you're going into, say, public speaking. And so now, the second I clicked on the live, my perception went right into the throat chakra because now I'm communicating. So, this is how the chakra system works. Your perception can go up and down depending, but the primary focus will always be in one of the chakras. He's showing me it's like a bullseye. And so the focus of your perception minute by minute can change the center ring, but the actual big one, like the bullseye that goes around it, that usually stays in one chakra until you make the proper changes or adjustments in order for the higher self to shift you into another level. Now, this is wonderful because when we start to realize that the perception is in a chakra system, now we can start to focus. Okay, this is where my focus is. It's in the blue chakra right now. So now I start to bring in blue. So now I put this blue background, I put it on the other wall too. I changed my bedding. I made my bedding blue because it's going to help me to step in and do healing on the throat chakra. Now, before blue, I was focused in the orange. And so I made my bedding orange. Now we have to realize that colors start to have an attunement to the chakra systems. And so whenever you have an imbalance in one of the chakras, surrounding yourself with that color is going to help. So we do this and then we balance out that chakra and then we utilize the intuition to tell us, okay, this chakra is done. I feel it's fully healed. It's completely active and it works properly. So now I'm going to focus on this chakra. So your willpower can make changes or modifications to the chakra that you focus on. And so this is another thing that you can do by placing your conscious focus and attention, and it will start the process of activating the perception inside of that chakra subsystem. And what that looks like, let's say, for an example, the higher self wants you to focus on red, but you consciously utilize your willpower and you're like, I'm going to focus on green. And so that's you making a manifestation. The higher self will eventually adjust to you. That's because your willpower is very strong. So when we start to utilize the willpower, it will give us the chance to choose what it is that we wish to manifest. So the way that this works is simple. It's kind of like a vision board or a manifestation. The more you start to place your focus and attention on something, it's going to strengthen that timeline or the manifestation string to whatever it is that you are trying to manifest. Each and every one of us are string workers. What that means is we hold a frequency, we can attune our frequency. And just imagine, let's say you're trying to manifest a crystal. So we know about energetic cords. This is a string. This is how we work string work. And so just imagine I'm trying to manifest a crystal just like this. So I want to imagine generating a cord from this crystal to mine. I always do my strings in the heart chakra because when you're utilizing any type of crystal or even a person, place, or thing, by going into the heart chakra, it's going to ensure that this is the highest and best for all people involved. And so what that looks like is, let's say you want to get a new car. And so, but you don't want anyone to get injured or hurt or any negativity around you getting the new car. You drop into the heart chakra and you generate a magnetic string. And in your mind, you just close your eyes, think of the car that you want, see it, sense it, feel it, smell it, all these things. These are all senses that trigger different brainwave patternings. And then just imagine drawing a little string and putting a little bow on it and saying, this is mine. That's it. That's all you have to do. Now you just made an energetic cord. So I'm not saying that doing this once is going to manifest the car. The more and more focus and attention you put, but doing it once, you're going to start to see the car all over the place. So you may notice the car more as you're driving around society. This is how this works. To properly change your attunement, you have to consciously focus on this over and over. Now, this is the masculine way of manifesting this. There's also a feminine way to do it. And the feminine way, to me, I think is better because what we do is we drop into meditation. And so, but you have to really drop into a meditation. Now, there's a gland on the roof of your mouth. That gland, it looks like a vesica Pisces. So it's kind of like the flower of life. It's like a seed. And so what you do is you rub that gland back and forth until it pops out. Now, we have that soft, bumpy part, and then right in front of it towards the teeth, that's the area that you want to wiggle. Now, just imagine a child sucking their thumb. The tip of the thumb would actually reach right on that gland. And so just wiggle it, it'll pop down. What that's doing is it's triggering alpha brainwave patternings. And so when you consciously do this, you're going to eventually see green in the third eye. It could be green blue or green yellow. That's okay. The second that you see that green and you're still wiggling that gland, you know that the higher self is placing full focus and attention on you. So the second that you see the green, you tell the higher self what you want. Thank you, higher self. Always thank. And so thank you, higher self, for giving me X, Y, and Z. And then kick back and wait. You can come off the gland. The higher self is going to either send you a visual or a knowing, or is going to give you some sort of memory or something in which you'll see or visualize you getting whatever it is that you wish to manifest. Many times we do this in the dream time. We're just unconsciously aware of it. This is also what the dream walking ability is. Now, when we dive in and we do it from the heart chakra, it's safer because it's always in love and light, and it's always for the best and the good of all people involved. So I always recommend coming into the heart. Now, let me take a sip. Wonderful. Okay. Let's talk about reflections into the simulation. And we only have 9 minutes left because tonight is also the shadow work Zoom. And so I put together a Zoom for anybody who wants to come. There's absolutely no charge. And we're just going to be focused on doing shadow work. The only way to get the Zoom link is to go to daniellelipton.com. It's on top of the screen. Just wait. There'll be a little message box that randomly pops up at the bottom, and just send me a message and I will send you the link through there. It's just easier instead of checking all the different sites. You have to go to my website. You have to send a message through the website, and then I will send you the link. I will be checking the links up until 8:20. So after 8:20, that's when I do my energetic clearing and we prepare for the Zoom. Now, if I send it to the WhatsApp, if there's any spammers, they're going to get in. And we've had spammers in the Zoom before. And so it's just not an experience I want to do again. Just send me an independent message. So, I try my best, So, but it's going to be fun because this is basically holding each other accountable to do the shadow work. And so, if you have any emotions, any traumas, anything that gets triggered, just we're going to go in and we're going to heal it. It starts at 8:30. So, it's like 38 minutes from now, from this moment. So, just mark it 38 minutes. And so, yeah, it's wonderful. And we had people come on Tuesday. Tuesday, we actually did attachments. And so today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm not quite sure what yet. I have several things in mind, but it's going to be fun. And have a paper and pen, have tissues in case you guys, get emotional. That's okay too. Now, the star people recommended for me to be doing an hour a day of shadow work. When you guys start to come inside, you start to do the shadow work, all of a sudden, it's kind of like you're getting to know yourself much better because now you understand, okay, this is that emotion that's holding me back. So how can I get rid of the emotion? If the emotion doesn't go away right away, you have to keep placing focus on the emotion. Well, what else can I do to let it go? And then not only that, another aspect of shadow work is forgiving. And this is a big thing. The star people had me go in and they had me forgive everybody who crossed me. And that was something that kept happening to me in my life. It was a cycle repeat of people who they just weren't loving, caring, kind. And so, when you're like so loving, caring, kind, and like it leads into the gullible state of mind, and you don't think people are going to harm you, and then you get harmed over and over and over again. That's the cycle that I was running. And so now just imagine that, and then having to go in and heal and forgive them and being okay and acceptance of the experience. Now, when we forgive and we are in acceptance of the experience, it's very powerful because we start to transmutate that experience from coming back at us. And so you heal it once, that's it. When you know it's gone, it's gone. Now, we also utilize some forms of it is a form of hypnotherapy. So we do different things like the color ball healing technology, but we also do things like throw up a magic TV. And so things like this are things I've learned in the physical form where we take the emotions and we train ourselves to release them. So when you start to do that, you can even notice people's facial expressions. Your face may change after you discharge certain emotions. So there's many, many different techniques to remove the emotions. There's different techniques where the star people are saying right now, you can take all your emotions and you can give them to a plant, and then you could take the plant and plant it into Mother Earth. And so long as that plant is growing, it will draw your negative or toxic emotions out of your energetic grids. So we can do that too. He's saying that it's something symbolic of actually you holding the plant with the roots, and it is encoding that frequency into that particular plant. He's saying if you could do a tree, that's best because a tree is going to last a very long time. I didn't even know that. We got to write it down. Okay, excellent. Yeah, forgiveness is huge. Yes, Derek, I will send you a link. Let me write down your name. This way I know. Let me see. You guys have any more questions? You see my left brow? What did I do? Hope it's okay. Sometimes my hair turns blonde. So it's funny, like it's red, but then if I'm out in the sun, completely blonde. Okay, let's see. Derek. Who else wanted one? Melissa, I think you have one. Okay, Nicole. All right, Nicole. Okay, do you guys have any questions? Who was the other one? Elio. Okay. Any more questions? Okay, Charlotte. Perfect. Excellent. Oh, I'm sorry. It just says Facebook user. It's sometimes a Restream app does that. Excellent. Okay, so let's see. We got time for one more question. Let's see what else we have. Mm. Okay, reflections. So, reflections is very, very important because this goes right back into when we heal and when we forgive other people. And so, I want you guys to start visualizing all other people are a reflection of yourself. And so, what that looks like is basically each soul form is here in the holographic simulation. However, when you start to see each person as a reflection of yourself, what that means is each one of you guys, you have experiences, and they're like, it's kind of like a contract that you have in the spirit form. You do this during the dream time. And so the dream walker abilities is consciously making these contracts to have these experientials with other people. And so when we start to do this, now all of a sudden, we start to see, okay, this person is being this particular way because of something that I needed to learn or grow from. So we say, thank you for the experience, and I see you as a reflection of me. During certain solar energetics, I can tell you from personal experience, I've seen another person on this world who had a conversation with me, and I knew for a solid fact I was talking to myself. So the solar energies definitely, definitely play a key role on the whole reflection that you see. So on higher solar energetic days, you're going to start to notice the signs and synchronicities are going to be bigger, or they're going to seem quicker. You're going to start noticing things. Now, this is all part of the process when it comes to seeing through the holographic simulation. It is literally a simulation. And so the more and more you start to notice the signs and synchronicities, it's going to lead you down a path where you start to see through it more and more. However, each person, we hear the call to go through the evolutionary process. If you listen and if you do the shadow work, that's completely up to free will. And so if we all heard what he's saying right now is in the movie The Matrix, right? Neo heard the call to pull himself out of the matrix, and then it was up to him. And the lady he went to, she said, "Oh, maybe not in this lifetime. You're not ready." That's because his frequency in that moment it wasn't ready. However, in the next moment, he was ready. And that happens because we can change our frequency instantaneously. You could set your willpower. This happens a lot to humans when someone tells us we can't do something. I love when someone tells me that. I get it done in less than a day. It's so funny. But if they didn't tell me that and it didn't light a fire under me, it would have taken 6 months to a year. Right? So that's how we're able to take a negative emotion and spin it into something positive. So, yeah. How do you sever ties with your children because they are abusive adults? You do not have to sever ties completely. What you do have to do is throw a boundary ring up, right? And you can say, listen, you only have access to me when you're clean and sober. You only have access to me if you are not cursing at me. I had to do this as well with people from my past. People I went through, there was this time when people used to curse at me and treat me really crummy, and so it happens. What are you going to do? And when I finally went through my healing process, I had to actually take my hand and put my hand up and say, "You're not allowed to curse at me. And if you curse at me ever again, you will never see me again." And I said it in such a stern tone so that they knew I was serious. And that's it. And when I did that, they never cursed at me again. It's been 4 years. So you have to find the strength inside of you. Now, sometimes the universe will test you. And so I know this too because I've seen it. And so now that there's no people who are going to curse to me these days, but I don't have a lot of people around me. So sometimes the hologram will put somebody on the outside. So you could run into somebody in a supermarket or somebody in a store, and they just keep pushing your buttons just to test your limit. But that's a hologram test to see if you're going to still hold true to the boundaries. And so I have a lot of patience for people, but when people start overcoming the boundary ring, right, there's certain words. Not only that, currently, I went from having a truck driver's mouth. I mean, I was born in New York, how that goes. And so that truck driver's mouth, now the star people are helping me. And it's a baby step process. No one's perfect, but they're helping me to not curse anymore. So now that I'm not cursing in every other sentence, and I'm really trying my hardest here, but now when somebody curses, the frequency of the curse, it feels totally different. It feels very like an abusive. right? And this is even if they're utilizing it in everyday conversation. Like they're not directing it at me, they're just utilizing it as they're playing a video game or something. And so that curse word, I never realized how strong of a frequency these curse words are, but it's kind of like it's very jarring, is what the star people are saying. That's the word for it, jarring. So now it's like, okay, tone down the curses because we don't realize the effect that that's having on the human form. In my mind, I was like, well, we use this word in multiple emotions and we use this word in every other sense because it's funny and who cares? But no, when you stop using the word, it has a different, it hits differently. So I encourage everyone to stop cursing. You could do it with me, right? And it's a baby step process. But this also taps into the whole, now I'm placing more conscious awareness on my thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And so now when I'm trying not to curse, when a curse does come, I'm very consciously aware, oh, I cursed, right? So now I take it back and I do a clearing and stuff, and I try again, I reset. But now what happens is that now, because you're consciously aware of that lower frequency word, so now you start focusing on all of your thoughts. And now, whenever I have a thought that's not of a high enough frequency, I pull it out, I throw it in a trash bin, right? Not today, universe. I don't need to have that thought. So, even just trying to not curse, it leads to an expanded consciousness because now you're consciously aware of, your thoughts and feelings and emotions. It all comes hand in hand. Um, Alan, they'll never tell you things like that. What race is Enki? Because we're in a multiverse. And so it depends on the frequency that you're holding and the highest potential that it gets deep. Now, one explanation that the star people always give us is just imagine the Great Pyramid. So we can all agree that in the human collective consciousness grid, there's a Great Pyramid. However, is there a Great Pyramid? Because we have the ability to instantaneously manifest as well as to remove items from the physical reality. And so we could sit here, we can go inside, we could change our biological frequency. This is known as your internal circumstances. And then we can disappear the pyramid so it was never there. Enki is another player in a holographic simulation. So it's the same thing. You can wipe him completely out of history by changing your internal circumstances and shifting into a parallel reality in which he never existed. History is an illusion, literally, because time and space, the only moment that is solid is right now. The past and the present and the future, the past and the future is fluid, they're saying. And so that means it's not solid. The only solidity is in the now moment. If that makes any sense to you guys, because right now, this is where physical reality is. 5 minutes ago is gone. Do you see a solid 5 minutes ago? No one sees that. It's gone. It's disappeared. Okay. It's in the memory grid complex, which is made of magnetism and electricity. That's in your energetic grid structure. Now, the future, we can project into the future, we can worry and stress about the future, but even still, that's fluid. So it's all a group of potentials waiting for full manifestation into the physical reality. It's not real, it's an illusion. Thoth and Hermes, too, then, illusion. Everyone is an illusion, even me. I'm just a reflection of something that you guys needed to see for you to evolve. However, we do share a collective consciousness, and the collective consciousness basically grants all users access into a similar overall picture of the holographic simulation. So just imagine for 1 second. Okay, he's telling me take PlayStation. And so PlayStation has a little head thing that goes around your head, right? Imagine everybody here in this chat box. Imagine that we all had this and we were all plugged in and it's a holographic simulation. In your world is completely different than mine. My world is completely programmed by me. And so then we have like the base programming, which shows all the stuff that's there. However, if I go into a meditation or if I drop into the computer programming subsystems, I can make changes to the overall hologram for everyone. That's how this works. So it's all the same thing. It's a holographic simulation. So learning the history is wonderful because it grants you access to see what information you are holding inside your energetic grid structure. And so when you know what information is encoded into you, then you can start to heal the emotions, because the emotions makes a cycle repeat, and history always repeats itself, but that's because it's inside the energetic grid structures. Excellent. Oh, we are going to have to end now, because in 20 minutes we start the shadow work session. So you guys have many, many love and blessings. We also want to thank the star people and thank you, higher frequential beings, for coming in and giving us this delightful transmission tonight. Thank you so incredibly much for bringing the information that the people needed for their evolutionary processes. You guys have a wonderful evening, and I hope to see each and every one of you guys at the shadow work session. Okay, just send me a message at daniellelipton.com for a complimentary Zoom link so you can come and do the shadow work. Excellent. You have a wonderful night, guys. Okay. Many love and blessings.